Hi everyone. I hope that you're doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm so grateful that you're listening, subscribing, and commenting. I really appreciate the support. And if you're interested to support me further, you can do that by going to my Patreon or Ko-fi link. They're both in the description below. In this one, I wanted to continue my series or my conversations about writing and why I'm writing certain books that I'm writing or why I wrote the certain books that I wrote. And currently, I am writing a book about self love and how to become a self lover. I don't think self lover is a real term, I believe, but I decided to make it up because I think it describes it so well. Because, we're all of us are looking for a lover, or we are a lover of a human being, or a pet, or a child. But we are not, in a lot of different ways, self lovers. We are not creating a relationship with ourselves and loving ourselves and doing nice things for ourselves. We don't behave like we are in a relationship with ourselves. We are in a relationship with a lot of other things, even inanimate objects like water bottles, and we'll treat them nicely and we'll say nice things to them like, oh, you're so pretty today, thank you for giving me water, and things like that. But we will never say those nice, kind, beautiful words to ourselves. And I noticed this for myself, particularly because I've gone through the whole cycle or the whole spectrum of going from complete self hatred, where I would say 10 years ago, 10, 12 years ago. And I hated myself. I hated everything about myself. I couldn't even look myself in the face. I was disgusted with everything to do with myself. And, I went through all of that. And then I moved little by little through many different things that I did yoga, meditations, journaling, etc. I moved from the spectrum of self hatred to little by little going towards self love. And I realized that the self love journey, or the journey of becoming a self lover, is not it's not one that has a destination. You can't suddenly be like, oh, all right, I'm done. Okay, cool. I've done everything that I can. I am a self lover now, and my journey is finished, and I don't have to do anything else. I can just chillax for the rest of the year, or the rest of the century, or the rest of my lifetime. So it's kind of like a journey. It's a journey that's a never ending journey until the moment you die. And even probably after that, you're on this journey of self love. You're constantly on this journey of learning more about yourself, loving yourself more, learning more about yourself, loving yourself even more, etc., etc. It keeps on going and going and going and going. And so I realized that about myself is that, I'm on this journey of self love. And of course, I have moments where I take a couple of steps back and I'm like, oh no, I'm loving myself less today, or I'm hating myself more today, or I'm being mean to myself today. And then again, I have to like really correct myself and move forward a little bit more again. Take 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And I'm constantly going back and forth or moving up the spectrum, slowly moving forward in the self love journey, learning more about myself, and then learning to love myself better and things like that. And because I've been on this journey for a while now, as I said, I would say 10 to 12 years now for sure, maybe even longer, maybe since I was born, I would definitely say I really hated myself as a teenager because I did not understand. I was an INFJ and I was very confused because I was very different from everyone around me, and I was very like, I'm weird and quirky and I don't understand why am I like this? Why can't I be like everyone else? And so of course that happened when I was a teenager, and I think most teenagers go through this. But even in my 20s, I felt completely lost, completely abandoned by the world, basically, where I had no idea what I was doing and I didn't understand why everyone else knew what they were doing and why everyone else was happy and I wasn't, and why everyone else was okay with the paradigms around us when I could see them clearly as being the Maya of illusion, or the illusion of Maya, however you want to say it, right? So I decided that, I would go on that self love journey because of the fact that I started doing a lot of work. I started reading a lot of books, and I started obviously doing yoga. And that was a big, big impetus in my journey towards self love, because the more I love my body, the more I love myself. And then slowing down helped a lot with meditation, and then writing, journaling. And there's a bunch of other things that I've done over time that I've spoken about little by little. But in this moment in time, I would say, as I said, I'm at the peak of my self love journey, but that peak keeps on getting higher and higher, right? So you're kind of moving towards the top of the mountain, but it's the kind of mountain that the peak keeps on moving away from you the higher you go up. And so you move up a little bit and you're like, oh, I'm closer to the peak. No, the peak's moved up again. And then you move a little bit more and you're like, oh, I think I'm closer now. No, the peak's moved up again. And so it's a never ending journey, as I said. And I keep on moving up and up on this journey, but I keep on realizing that the peak is moving as well. Like that I'm moving towards a destination that's never going to reach. I'm never going to reach the destination. It's always going to keep on moving away from me. It's like those dreams I'm sure you've had where you're running towards a door, or you're running towards towards something, towards a light, and you're running and you're running and you're running and you think you're getting closer, and then you realize no, you're not getting closer. It's actually moving away from you, and the more you run, the further away it moves from you. And I think that's kind of like what the self-love journey is about. Not in a negative way. It's not like, oh my god, I'm huffing and puffing and nothing's happening. You are getting closer, but also you're learning more about yourself, and you're learning, oh yeah, I do this terrible thing to myself. I didn't realize this earlier. I need to fix that. And then you fix it, and then you realize something else that you do terribly to yourself, and then you fix that, and you move a little bit closer. But you keep on learning more and more ways in which you can love yourself, and then in that manner you keep on becoming more of a self-lover. But as I said, the journey of self-love is never ending. It keeps on going over and over and forever and ever and ever. I'm sure I'm 37 right now, or almost 37 in August, and I'm sure that I'll be 60 and I'll still be like, wow, I've grown so much, and I've become such a beautiful self-lover, but I have so much more to learn about myself, and I have such a long way to go still if I reach the 60. And I'm sure at my deathbed I'll be saying the same thing. Oh wow, I've come such a long way, and I've learned so much about myself, and I've loved myself so much to this journey, but I have so much more to love. I have so much more to give to myself, right? And so I think this is what I wanted to share with you guys in the book that I'm writing. And that's the reason I'm writing the book that I'm writing. Not to say that I'm perfect at the self-love thing, because I don't think anyone really is. We go through fluctuations, we go through peaks and valleys. Some days it's easier, some days are harder. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's difficult. Some people it's easier, for some people it's very difficult. And so of course we're kind of going through fluctuations and permutations and combinations. And eventually we will realize that we are a self-lover, and we are, getting there. Or we'll be like, no, I still have a long way to go. So 12 years ago, I realized I had a very long way to go because I really hated myself. And right now, I love myself, but not perfectly yet. I have moments where I'm mean to myself, extremely mean, and I have moments where I'm cruel to myself. I have moments when I don't do proper self-care. I have moments when I push myself beyond my limits. I have moments where I burn myself out or exhaust myself out. I have moments where I forget to eat or to drink water or to sleep properly. And so all of these little things that I do, some moments I'm doing it really well and I'm taking care of myself and I'm really a good self-lover. And other moments I'm like, oh no, I got distracted by work and I did not take care of myself and I really need to do a better job. So I had all of these thoughts in my head about the self-love journey. And, I was like, I really want to write a book about it. But of course, my imposter syndrome popped up, or my censor, the critic in my head said, what do you know about self-love? How dare you think that you can write a book about it, right? Of course. And so in my head, I'm thinking, well, maybe that's a good point, but, and I have this but always for my censor of a critic, I said, well, I know I'm not a perfect expert out there for self-love. For sure, there's some amazing people out there better than me at self-love, for sure, for sure. But I've learned a lot in my journey, and I have learned a lot in these 12 years, and I want to share those learnings with those people, with everyone. And so I was like, all right, even if I'm not an expert, I have a little bit of knowledge on the subject because I have gone through the journey, and I have all these thoughts about it. And of course, if I have all these thoughts about it, I have to write them down. And so I was like, all right, let me just write the book. Let's see how it goes. Maybe I won't even get to like page 12, right? Maybe I'll just write 5 words and I'll be like, all right, I think that's all I have to write about this. But I started writing it, and more topics kept on coming up, and more things. And I'm almost at 40,000 words right now. I'm at like 6,000 something. And I still have a lot to say about the subject. And I'm like enamored with the subject. I'm really having a lot of fun writing it. And I'm just like, wow, there's a lot to write about self-love and being a self-lover. So I really decided to obviously write the book, and I'll obviously complete it and publish it. And I'm going to I think I'll be done writing the complete book in a few days, and I'll be editing it. So probably in a month or so, I'll publish it on Amazon. So I'll obviously tell you guys when I do. But I wanted to share this with you because at this moment in time, this journey is still fresh in my mind. And I wanted to share with you how sometimes we obviously think that we're not an expert on subject matter, and I'm not. But there are certain things that we can share about what our journey was all about, and that's what I'm doing with this book. I definitely have no degree in self-love. I don't think you can even get a degree in self-love. But I have no I have no expertise in love or in that matter at all, but I have been on the path of self-love for so long that I know that I've accumulated some gains, some learning, some expertise in a little bit of an area. And so I decided to do a book on it, to write a book on it. And surprisingly, happily enough, it's coming out really nicely. And I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited to share it with you eventually when it is finished. And so I really wanted to share this video with you just as a celebration of not only the fact that I'm almost done with the book, but also a celebration of my own self-love journey and the celebration of the fact that we live in a world where I can be like, oh, I really want to share this. Let me write a book about it, and I can write it and then share it with people and people actually read it. Isn't this amazing? I mean, I just love the fact that we live on a planet like that. It just makes me feel so happy. All right, I just wanted to share this with you. I hope that you enjoyed the video. I am excited for the book, and I will definitely let you guys know when I publish it. I'm really, really excited for you guys to read it if you are interested in something like self-love or self-lovers. Again, thank you so much for being on my channel. I really appreciate it, and I shall see you the next time around. Bye for now.